I am so grateful. Well, an angel appeared to a man in a puff of smoke. And the angel said to him, because you have lived a good and virtuous life, I can offer you a gift. You can be the most handsome man in the world. Or you can have infinite wisdom. Or you can have limitless wealth. What is your choice? And the man says, I'll take wisdom. And the angel says, whew, and poof, she's gone. And the man says, maybe I should have taken the money. Well, we were in Portland, Oregon, as you know, for a couple weeks, and we were walking to the Oregon Museum of Science and Industry when this woman came up in a car beside us. And she rolled down her window and she asked us if we would like to receive a blessing. Now, I have to say a lot of things went through my head. Like, is she going to try and preach to us? Is she going to ask for money? Is she wanting something from us? Was she dangerous? And Emily is thinking, on the other hand, I would love to receive a blessing. When you know it.
I've always depended on the kindness of faith.
So, before I could say anything from my momentarily judgmental mind, Emily says, yes, we'd love to receive a blessing. So the woman sticks her hand out her window, and it's obvious that there's a bill in her hand. And we thought, she's, probably, we're thinking along the same lines. It's a 1 or a 5 or something like that. And so she gave Emily the bill, and she drove away. And then after she drove away, Emily opened up her hand and found it was a $100 bill that this woman gave to total strangers. Bob asked, what kind of car was she driving? Well, just wait a minute. Let me finish the story. You guys are really tough on me today. So the woman came by again. I think she went around the block, and she came by again, and she said she wanted to express her gratitude for us receiving her gift, which was from her mother, Benny Lee, who died 3 years previous. And she said, I offered this gift to those homeless people up the street. I offered it to a couple that was walking by, and all of them said, no, thank you. We don't want to receive a blessing. And she said, I don't understand why people don't want to receive a blessing. I'm so glad that you were willing to receive this gift from my mother, because you blessed me by receiving my gift. And I said, phew, you made our day by offering us this gift. And I said, isn't it interesting? I said, I'm a minister, and I've had the idea to create a sermon based upon receiving. And I'd like to use your story in my sermon. And she said, wow, what church is that? And so I told her Unity Church of Maui, and she wrote it down, and she says, well, how can I see your sermon? And I said, well, you can go to YouTube in a couple of weeks, and it'll be posted on YouTube. And she was like, oh, I'm going to do that. She wrote it down. Wow. And the blessing really in all of this wasn't so much the money, even though the money was great. And we still haven't spent it. And I'll tell you why in a moment. You'll get it. But what the blessing really was the connection that we made when we decided to receive her gift. because it opened our hearts and it opened hers. And she told us some more about her mother, and we were able to share, and we had this amazing moment because we were open to receive, open to having a connection. I am open and receptive to all the good that's available to me right now. Receiving with grace is beautiful. It allows us the opportunity to connect with someone who wants to give us something. And it blesses both the giver and the receiver. And I believe in some small way, it beautifies the world, brings us closer. We develop new friendships, new connections, a new receptivity to love. You've heard this saying, it's nobler to give than to receive. I'm not so sure that's true anymore. It's a great idea, and maybe we've been taught that growing up, but I don't really think it's as valuable as receiving. You know, the woman who gave us the $100 says, I don't understand why people are afraid to receive a gift. Have you ever said no thank you to someone who offered you a gift? Have you ever said no thank you to somebody who offered you money? Have you ever said no thank you, in a sense, by repudiating or refusing to receive a compliment? You know, somebody says, oh, well, you sure did a great job with that. How many times do we say, oh, you know, it's really nothing? Wow. When we do that, we're denying that person the opportunity to give us a compliment, and we're denying ourselves the opportunity to receive that which glorifies us, beautifies us, brings us to life. So we fear receiving for a few reasons. I think that sometimes we think there's going to be strings attached. Certainly I thought this woman was going to want to preach to us or something, and or want something from us, right? Don't we often think that? So we say, no, thank you. I really don't want anything, because I'm thinking you're going to try and get me to do something that I don't want to do, or listen to something. Also, we sometimes feel that receiving makes us feel or appear vulnerable and weak. It's like, oh no, I'm strong enough. I have everything. I'm abundant enough. I don't need anything more. So, no thank you. Also, we believe it's selfish to receive. I think a lot of us heard that as children, that it's better off to give than receive, because it's selfish to receive. It's just not necessary. So as we walked away, holding this $100 bill, what do you think the first thought we had was? Yeah, we're going to give it away, right? It's like, okay, we were like, all right, did you read my notes? Did you read the walkie-talkie over there? It's like immediately we think, I have to give this away, right? I have to pay this forward. And certainly there is some value in that. But what about when somebody gives us something, what about just keeping it? What about showering ourselves with the love that gift, that person is offering us? I think out of guilt, sometimes we think, I got to give this away. I got to give it to somebody else. We were walking down the street thinking, what homeless person or how can we pay this forward, instead of just taking the gift and enjoying it ourselves. And so we're still looking at what can we do with this $100 bill that's really going to demonstrate the gift that this woman's mom, Benny, was offering. Benny Lee was offering us in a way that honors this woman that gave us a gift and honors the memory of her mother. Wow. I am open and receptive to all the good that's available to me right now. Say that with me. I am open and receptive to all the good that's available to me right now. Sometimes I think we forget that we are living, breathing beings. It takes nourishment. It takes water to help a plant survive, or food to help a plant survive. And in the same way, we need and deserve spiritual nourishment to feed our souls. And sometimes we get to take it in and just be with it and let it nurture us. Rumi wrote, "Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it." When we resist a gift that's offered to us, if we can stop for a second and look at, okay, what are the erroneous beliefs that I'm experiencing or feeling that are keeping me from feeling worthy enough to receive this gift? Because we get that defensive. Can you sense that defensiveness that comes up when someone offers us a gift? Almost like we want to push it away. What if we just said, wow? What if we just said, thank you? When someone offers us a compliment, why not just say, thank you? Thank you. I received that. Thank you. Someone gave us some peacock feathers as a welcoming home gift. And, the feathers don't quite fit with the way we've designed our house and our motif. And when the feathers were first presented to us, we had this thought of, oh, no thank you. We won't use them. Give them to somebody else that can really will enjoy these peacock feathers. But thank goodness we had the presence of mind to just accept them and say, thank you. And the person that gave them to us went away, I imagine, feeling like, wow, I really gave them something that they appreciated. The truth is, when we receive something, we can return our attention to the giver and the intention behind the gift. To look at the love and the thoughtfulness that is motivating the person to give us this gift. And if feelings of unworthiness arise, or the thought of, I don't need, I don't want, I don't like this, we can put them aside and give our attention to the person who's giving and be totally present with that. My sense is, if we had said no to this person when they initially offered us these peacock feathers, he may have gone away feeling like hurt, right? It stifled him from giving, and in the same way it stifled us from receiving. And do you think that person would ever give us anything again? Probably not. And we are stopping the flow of abundance when we say, no, thank you. And, of course, there are exceptions. But the general rule that we're really talking about today is to be able to say, yes, thank you, to create that connection. I felt a connection with this person after he offered us these peacock feathers. And then, of course, we really didn't feel like they were something that fit with our house. And so I gave them to Kealoha, and there's about 30 of them, and she said that she'd take them to the Hawaiian school where she works and give them to students in the school who would love and appreciate these amazingly beautiful peacock feathers. The truth is, when we receive something, we can turn our attention to the giver and the intention behind the gift, the love, the thoughtfulness that motivates the giving. You know, giving and receiving a gift is, whether it's material or not, is an opportunity for deep connection. Even more than the thing, more than the money, more than the gift, more than the compliment. It's about creating a connection and being present to the beauty that's in the moment and allowing ourselves to accept that and bless the giver and the receiver. By accepting another's gift, we are making a connection and allowing a little more friendship in the world. And this often means more than the gift that's given. I am open and receptive to all the good that's available to me. How does that feel? That's pretty amazing, isn't it? Well, you know, when we go on our vacations, we also do some hiking. And on this particular day, we were hiking to Ramona Falls, which is, this is about a 7.3 mile loop with a 1,000-foot elevation change. It's all up, by the way. And of course, you know, when you go up, you have to come down. That's a whole nother talk. But it's one of the most beautiful hikes in the Mount Hood area. And after a mile of hiking on this trail, we had to cross the Sandy River. And there are two ways that I know of to cross this river. And one of them is to walk across fallen logs. Absolutely not my favorite. And the second one is to wade through the rushing milky water over boulders, some of them this big, some of them this big. And you can't see them because of the milky glacier runoff of the water. And you know, the bottom is invisible. So it's very precarious. So we were sitting by the bank of the Sandy River. It sounds like it should be a song. And watching a woman and her son crossing the river. We were kind of looking for a place where we could get across. And when they got across, they came to where we were, and the woman said, "Would you like help crossing the river?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah." And so, you know, I thought, I am in the mood for the help of her son to help me cross this river, who is a young, strong man. And so he grabbed my arm and stood with me. And as you see, I have hiking poles. I don't know who that old guy is, but this used to be a lot easier, I know. So anyway, he helped me cross the river, and his mom stood there and encouraged me. And I was able to get across. And we were able to thank them. You know, once I kind of got through my guilt of, I really want somebody to help me across. Do they really have time to help me? Are they really willing to help me? Once I dealt with all that, I was able to get across the river and to the other side. But again, the valuable thing was not the help. It was the connection that we made with these people. Total strangers that we could stop and talk to for a few minutes. I could have received their gift of helping me across this river, and they could receive my gift of thanking them and just being present. We're all present for each other for just a few minutes. I'm open and receptive to all the good that's available to me right now. So where was this hike taking us? I have to tell you, it took us to Ramona Falls, which is, it's really hard to show you in a picture how huge this falls was and how beautiful it is. But this was the gift at the end of the loop that we made. This amazing, really amazing waterfall. And we went on from there and hiked along a mossy path where there was literally water coming out of the side of the mountain. It was absolutely amazing. Kind of the universe's gift to us for making this hike. So, after observing these falls, we had to hike back out of this loop, back to where the Sandy River is crossed by the logs. Now, now, when we got back, Emily and I talked about, because, is she strong enough to be able to support me walking through this rushing water that is 2 or 3 feet deep in the middle? And thought, that's not such a good idea. And so Emily's like, I think you should really just cross the logs. And I'm thinking, I don't know. We did this hike a couple of years ago, and I have to say I couldn't even get my feet on the log to try and walk across it. So Emily's like, I know you can do it. I know you can do it. You can just sit on it, crawl on it, kneel on it, whatever you can do. Just get across the dang river. So she walks across, takes her backpack over, comes back, gets my backpack, takes it over. A guy should never have to admit this stuff, And then she comes back and she grabs my hiking poles and she takes those across the river. And then the whole time she's doing this, I'm going, I can do this. I can do this. I am calm. I am relaxed. I can make this. I can get across this river. And so she's, I almost said egging me on. She's encouraging me. Come on, you can do this. Come on, you can do this. So I got down on my knees and scooted and crawled and got across the Sandy River. And, man, when we got to the other side, I felt like I had won a gold medal in the Olympics. I'll tell you. There was a little part of me that thought, I should go back and just try this 3 or 4 times, So next time it's not such a big deal. But I quickly cast that idea out of my mind. And I have to say, when it was over, I felt so great. This is like one of the number one fears for me, is going across a lake or going across a river on a log. And I'm so grateful to Emily for helping me through that and encouraging me. And I really felt that connection. And that was a gift from her to me, to receive her encouragement and to make it across a river. Brene Brown wrote, until we can receive with an open heart, we never really can give with an open heart. When we attach judgment to receiving help, we knowingly or unknowingly attach judgment to giving help. Doesn't that make so much sense? If we're judging getting help, if we're judging compliments, if we're judging gifts, the same thing happens. That same energy that stops us there stops us when we give. Because we can't really give truly unless we can receive. I am open and receptive to all the good that's available to me right now. Receiving with grace is beautiful. It allows an opportunity to connect with someone who wants to give. And it blesses both the giver and the receiver in some small way. I know that it also beautifies the world. So the next time someone offers a complaint or a gift to you, will you receive it? Or will you just say, no, thank you? As you connect with others and see them as friends, you're blessing them and receiving their blessing and creating more friendship, more love, more connection in the world. And so it is. And let's join together for meditation. Breathing in and breathing out. And as you breathe, allow your awareness to move into your heart. Feeling the love that is the essence of who you are. It is the truth of who you are. Imagine that you are open and receptive. That you're open and receptive to the beauty that's in this moment. And you're open and receptive to the universe that offers you love. Blessing and loving the universe that offers you the gift of life. And through your receiving, you are deeply connected to all the gifts in the universe. The breeze that moves through this moment. The beauty in the trees. The love of new friends. And in this place with closed eyes, perhaps you can imagine receiving gifts. And saying, yes, thank you. Thank you. Yes. I am worthy to receive. The presence of God within me is open and worthy to receive. And let's take just a moment to join together in this silence to just receive. Breathing in and breathing out. Rumi wrote, "You are the call of the rising sun, the hope of all people in need. You are the seeker, the goal, and seeking itself. Blazing like fire in every heart, calming the mind of its restlessness. You are the seer, the seen, and sight itself." Thank you for your gifts to Unity Church of Maui today. We're so grateful to have this building and our staff, and when you give to us, it helps us to keep all of this beauty working so well and provide this very sacred space for us to do this amazing work that we get to do on a Sunday morning. So thank you. So great to have a live audience back again, and to be able to see all of you and connect with all of you after a year and a half or however long it was we did it in our front room. This is much more fun than doing it in our front room, I must say. Even though I could do it in the front room with shorts on or whatever, you know. So, as you're preparing your gift, I invite you to consider, as you give, your ability to receive. And as we give with love, it gives us the opportunity, in the same way, to connect with our heart. And then to receive with love. So let's affirm and pray together our prayer of prosperity, which begins, "Through a grateful, giving heart, my mind and life overflow with the abundance of God's all-providing, infinite supply." And so it is. Thank you. Thank you, loving Spirit, for these gifts that have come to us in love. We hold them, we bless them, and we give thanks for them. And we release them as they move through this ministry out into the world. And we behold a world filled with love, with light, and with peace, and friendship. And so it is. Amen. Thank you. Well, our flowers today were offered by Emily Goss in appreciation for Benny Lee. Who gifted us in many ways, and indeed was a huge part of the inspiration for this talk today. And if you would like to dedicate flowers on Sunday morning, you too can do that. There's a sign-up sheet on the table by the door, and you can sign up to bring flowers as a gift to us and to bless us and to beautify our sanctuary on Sunday morning. Next week, my talk is titled, "This is Why You Are Here." And so I'm going to talk about how can we realize that this path that we're on is about waking up. It's about enlightenment. You know, some traditions claim that, you know, we live in this life and then we move on to some other place. I like to think that what we have to experience here in this lifetime is in itself the gift. And we can, by exploring our ability to wake up, be present to the fullest moment, and be present to the life and the gifts that are right here, right now. So join us next week, and you may discover why you're here. And every week I put together this Walk Your Talk that has kind of summarizes the points that I make in my talk, and this is available on the table by the door as well. And let's see. Our talks are available, as you know, on Facebook Live, being broadcast right now, and later on it'll be on YouTube. And you can find other services on YouTube if you want to listen to some of our music by our amazing musicians, as well as talks from the past. There's years of talks up there. So, with all that said, why don't we stand up and let's end this time together today by praying and affirming the prayer for protection. Let's say it together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. God bless you. Thank you for being here today. Aloha.
Where I live, there are rain.